Oxide is going to be our map to begin on. To start down in the bottom left-hand side, the red Terran player is HeroMarine. Best of 3, of course, this is round of 8. And we have semi-finals after this as well. So, I was just looking at the bracket. So, Harstem, HeroMarine here in the round of 8. Harstem 2-0 against Vanya to move on through. The winner of this is going to play against Geralt, DNS, Lambo, or sort of. I jumped into this section because I thought this would be a pretty cool side of the bracket to be on. But now Roddy's in Geralt versus DNS. So everyone's just hopping around brackets everywhere. So, yeah, the winner of this is going to potentially play against, let's say, Lambo, maybe kind of the favorite there. But their semi-final is, or their quarterfinal section is not ready yet. But those games are underway. We'll keep you guys updated whenever we can. We'll see, obviously, just where else we end up. Just what I'm trying to say is that I don't have a prediction of what we're going to do after this. We aren't necessarily going to follow this side of the bracket for the semi-finals. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in the back of your minds, and we should be golden. So HeroMarine bottom left. Harstem is top right. We go into Oxide for game number 1. And this should be a fairly fun little TvP. HeroMarine, I think, generally does just have that winning record over Harstem. A winning record that has probably, been something which he has over a lot of players, apart from a small couple of guys. So, yeah, as we get this underway, expecting HeroMarine to be the favorite. I actually just checked on this. Maybe a small winning record, I say. They've played 11 times since the start of 2020. Including they just played yesterday in the round of 8 as well, and yesterday in the round of 8, or not yesterday, sorry, last week in the Open Cup, on the 7th of January, they played, and HeroMarine won 2-0. The time before that, Harstem won in the Asus ROG qualifier. That was very exciting. That was the only time Harstem beat HeroMarine in 2020. They played 9 other times. So HeroMarine was 9-0 against Harstem until the Asus ROG qualifier. How bonkers is that? That's actually just crazy. Didn't realize it was such a one-sided affair. Like, I knew HeroMarine was good. Obviously, I know HeroMarine is very good. I know Harstem generally typically loses to HeroMarine, but I feel like he had some close matches. I remember in some of the earlier Open Cups, for example, he was always so close to beating HeroMarine in a couple of the times they met, in some of the round of 4s that they met in round of 8s. I find that really crazy. Alright, well, Reaper takes some hits. Just going to be seeing the Adept chase this down, and the Reaper is going to fall. So nice cleanup for Harstem here. We'll at least shut that down to begin with. And hey, what's up, Zosty? Thank you so much for the Prime sub just coming through. Appreciate it. As our Adept makes its way to the bottom. So, a group of Marines already out on the map, and they are actually the wrong place to actually catch this Adept. So the Adept going to get up. Obviously, will not be allowed into the main, but he's going to see just a couple Marines here, so we'll stick around and fight for a little bit. He's going to get one Marine kill, and we'll shade out and see the other Marines coming. And he's obviously going to run and hope to get away. It's going to be close, and it's not close enough for Harstem. HeroMarine is able to pick up the kill. Starboard going to drop down onto the tech lab here. Factory going to move off of it, in the second barracks already coming up as well. Just going to be seeing the third racks on the way. So HeroMarine going to go into a big bio setup to follow this up. So pretty minimal on the starport etc. Just going to be a Raven, just a Hellion off the factory for now. I mean, tech lab building, maybe we see something before the racks are done, but very likely the majority of the reason you're seeing those tech labs are to set up the stim packs, set up the combat shields, get the upgrades rolling, and get those out and about on the map to go from there. Hellion chasing down the probe. As the probe gets picked off, the Robo Bay coming up on the natural expansion. a nice quick move into the Robo Bay. Puts that down before you go to 3 bases here, but that's generally just the plan. He has gone Phoenix, so he's got these to harass around with right now to try and move forward and to deal some damage. So pushing through. Phoenix is going to grab a couple of Marines to start off with right away, and as they move further into the main base, SCVs are going to be pretty ripe for the picking as well. Gets rid of a Mule to start off there. And the Phoenix is going to come back up the left side and through the center. Trying to figure out what direction they can go in. Where they can go is another SCV gets picked up. Pretty calm game. Obviously, Phoenix Colossus is something which takes a little while to really develop for Harstem, right? I mean, because you go Phoenix early, then you go Colossus, everything else on the ground is kind of lackluster, so it really is just about these Phoenix on the map initially. HeroMarine is one of those stars as well where it's very difficult to do anything against because you don't really want to drop because of the Phoenix, and in this case, you managed to sneak one medevac out, and that's the sort of thing you might be able to do just about without Harstem realizing and going to hunt it down. If you take 2 medevacs, for example, it's this weird situation of, oh my god, like, where is the other where's the medevacs go? Now you might just be like, okay, well, I still see where the army is. He was going to recall home. The Raven is something which does not have a lot of use against the Stargate setup because the Phoenix are going to get a kill on this Raven 9 times out of 10 before it can do anything useful. So sneaking this across the map to actually get probes is really good. To get 11 probes against the Stargate opener with the Raven, that's incredible. 10 probes killed. That's exactly what you're looking for. As now a medevac goes in the main. There's no defense for it there. Phoenix will lift against the tank Marine push on the front of the third at least, but 20 workers killed elsewhere. That's the problem for Harstem. His entire main base mineral line cleaned out. Now he's going to lose a pylon as well. He just was not set up well enough to deal with this multi-pronged aggression because he just didn't know about it. There's medevac sneaking out. The Raven obviously causes distraction, and the main push on the third lined up at the perfect timing as well. So really well played by HeroMarine, putting everything in the right places at the right times to, well, give himself the advantage in this game number 1. I mean, that's definitely HeroMarine off to the lead. He's off to the races with the damage that he's done here already. Fire moving around. Command center is going to move across to the left. Going to finish in a few moments. It's just coming in. Prism is about to finish up on the Robo. Just going to be seeing everything rallying out toward the Colossus here. As the Phoenix get to work, obviously they're going to go and lift up whenever they can. 61 probes of Harstem against the 55, so he's rebuilding nicely. The problem is you're putting so much money into rebuilding workers. It takes money away from the fact that you're meant to be building up an army as well. Now, overall resource lost is good for Harstem because despite all those workers killed, he has killed tanks and he has cleaned up Marines and medevacs, and he's picked up the armies at least. It's not like HeroMarine was able to do all of this and get everything away alive. It was a cost he had to pay. He did give up 8 Marines and the medevac to clean out workers in the main. He gave the Raven for the initial harassment too, and that push on the left side also got cleaned up in the end. So resources lost is even. Obviously this comes down to then a duel of who mined more throughout the game, and HeroMarine did take the edge on that, right? That's where he did take the advantage with that harassment. But like I say, it's not a massive victory as much as you might initially be thinking. I think it puts HeroMarine ahead for sure, but don't think it's like he can just walk across the map and whatever, he'll just win. He might be able to take a good fight and win, but he would need to find a good fight, right? This is not like a... Harstem shouldn't just roll over or die. There is a way for Harstem to play against this. He's going to meet this in the middle of the map. Disruptor shot. Second guessed itself. It came to kind of fight the units that moved forward, and then it continued back, and then it just ended up between everything. So that's not a good start. The first disruptor shot does nothing. Super battery. Saved the Colossus for a while. He eats an EMP. Okay. Well, I lied. I mean, this was a bad fight for Harstem. He was relying on the disruptors to do something, but the disruptors did nothing. Multiple disruptor shots did nothing. And then the Colossi got caught. There wasn't a protection for them. The army just wasn't there, so HeroMarine does get far enough ahead and just comes across the map. And I do feel like this was a good fight. I also neglected to realize that there were ghosts already in HeroMarine's army, and obviously the EMPs are very useful in this game here, as we have in the upper right-hand side our red Terran player. This is going to be HeroMarine up 1-0 in our best of 3 quarterfinal matchup. Of course, he's streaming on his own channel if you want to go check it out. I'm sure you guys know where to. I actually don't know him. I actually don't know his exact Twitch link. I don't want to say something that's wrong. Harstem is actually streaming as well. Blue Pro bottom left. So if you want to check him out, I know that's twitch.tv/Harstem. HeroMarine stream is twitch.tv/just HeroMarine. Perfect. I just didn't know if it was like HeroMarine SE or Mouse HeroMarine. I just didn't want to say something and send you guys to the wrong place, right? So, yes, twitch.tv/Harstem, twitch.tv/HeroMarine. Obviously, do be aware that if you go there, those guys don't have to stream with the delays, so they'll be 2 minutes ahead of wherever we are. So if you go there, you will be spoiled of what's coming up on the stream. So just be aware of that. Factory on the way in the main base. It's going to be a double gas setup, right? So, HeroMarine with the potential to... It makes it a little bit tough for Harstem because then he doesn't know what's up, but then he never scouted. So, Harstem doesn't really, for the moment, look at this and be like, oh no, what's he doing? Because actually, he doesn't know that HeroMarine's trying to fake him out a little bit and make him a bit worried. And stuff when that double depot goes up to wall off with, because once that wall off goes up, you're obviously in a position where you just can't, you don't know if there's a factory behind it, you don't know if he's expanding after that factory, you don't know if it's a full-on starport already setting up. It could be so many different things. It actually opens with a Marauder as well, so I mean, then you see Marauder, so at least that's good info with the probe. There's going to be a starport before we see a third CC, so see a natural CC. It's kind of like a bit of a, what I would call a bit of a TvT build. You see some builds like this frequently in TvT, and you get aggressive with the first medevac or so. Adept coming through there and putting a couple of shots out to pick away at the Reaper. So the Reaper taking some hits. HeroMarine escapes that with the Reaper towards the upper side of the map. Bringing that away for the moment. Here comes the medevac. So there's a couple of Hellions, a few Marauders. The Oracle of Harstem is going to be able to do some serious damage, yes? Defensively speaking, though, he doesn't have a lot, so both players are likely to get damage done. This is going to be one of those scenarios where basically everybody is dealing damage to each other. Oracle recalls home, though, so actually Harstem decides not to go for the damage and instead to go for the defense. Okay, I like it. I think the thing is Harstem's up a lot of supply, right? And he knows the CC is late from his opponent, so why do something that's going to just put you in a position where you must deal damage yourself and the game can get weird, right? Whereas this scenario, you can see how well he's cleaning this up. He's losing his first probe just now. So Oracle is going to get the Hellion kill, so it's 3 workers lost. So you lose 3 workers and maybe you lose a Stalker as well, but you clean up everything that's on the map for HeroMarine, but 1 medevac and 1 Marauder. I think 3 probes kind of makes up for HeroMarine obviously being on a late expansion, so maybe this comes out fairly even. I don't mind Harstem. I think it is just safer to play the defense than to be like, okay, let's both lose a ton of workers. Which obviously would have been maybe a little bit problematic. It feels like it's the sort of setup that you have more control over, right? I suppose is what I'm trying to say. And if you have more control, easier to keep the game within reach and to know what you're doing. And like I said, it's almost like the more skill-based way of doing it rather than the, well, crap, I hope this works. Marauder drops down here. Probe is going to get picked off, so that one Marauder still being a little bit cheeky. As the GM Stalkers coming across the map, there's not a lot in this natural to, in fact, there's nothing in this natural to defend. Everything, for even the tank for some reason, is chasing a low energy Oracle. So yeah, this natural looking good. Couple of SCVs go down. Marines and a couple of tanks going through and pushing these Stalkers away. Marines taking a few more hits. I think this medevac is on its way back home. I think Harstem will be happy to see the end of that. It's just been a little bit annoying. I know there was no further real kills from that Marauder, but you know, it's just something you have to kind of keep looking back at home for, right? And then, yeah, just for only being one unit, it's like, god damn it, like, can you just stop, please? You just have to respect it, because otherwise you will lose workers, and that's just silly. Now it's back home. HeroMarine doesn't have anything across the map, and Harstem's already well on the way to a third base, so that's looking good for him. That Nexus is well underway, going to be completing shortly. Just one attack and combat shields, Stimpak as well. All the bio upgrades you would expect this to be. Harstem going to go with the charge and then going to go into the Dark Shrine also. So he has just 3 gas in it and basically just going to go into a Charge Bot Stalker Archon. But with the DTs, it also has a harassment option, so it gives you that way of being out on the map and being able to deal some more damage if you would like to. Definitely gives you that as a... Just being able to deal some more damage, that's just kind of a nice thing in general, I think. Having that harassment option open to you. Especially right now, what HeroMarine is doing is still 2 base, right? So the longer that HeroMarine sits on 2 bases for, the more potential the DTs have, because there's going to be less scans available. And, you know, if HeroMarine ends up being super aggressive, does he really have scans forever? DTs can slow that down a lot. It's obviously possible that HeroMarine just expands behind this little push out, but yeah. There's a Raven in place, so the actual army maybe isn't in too much trouble when it comes to DTs, but again, the counter stabs, the back stabs, those sort of things. Here come the SCVs pulling. I guess if you just kill the Raven, that is not impossible to do, right? I mean, Ravens are fairly flimsy. If the Stalkers can catch it, then absolutely brilliant. Not finding the chance just yet, though, as HeroMarine moves well around with everything. HeroMarine, though, nearly loses a tank. Harstem does find the opportunity to get some damage on that, and now they'll have to blink away. Can he cope with this? The SCVs are pulled. As I mentioned, this was still just 2 bases. So here we go. So Zealot's already activated the charge. They still do have a lot of Zealots, and the Zealot count is going to be a big part of this. Ooh, Matrix is the Sentry, so you can't go for a Guardian Shield here, or any Force Fields. I actually kind of like it. I think it's really cute. I think it actually helps out a whole bunch. As the anti-arm missiles, a chunk of the Zealots now after that. Pulling back. Probably needs to scan to get rid of these couple of disrupt, couple DTs, sorry, and wow, HeroMarine's going to tap out because Harstem's just going to have enough to hold this off. Harstem going to tie us up 1-1 here in this best of 3. Third map is going to be Jagannatha to decide things. Some Terrans like to veto this map versus Protoss. I actually don't mind it as a Terran. I actually kind of think it's pretty nice for dropping on and pulling your opponents apart, and I think that's what HeroMarine might be thinking. It is also, I mean, it's a very good 4-base setup as well for Protoss, and if you get 4-base, you can sometimes get 5, and maybe that's the issue, actually pushing into bases. If you can't drop them to death, then you actually have to, like, push them and, you know, that kind of thing. That's more difficult to do on Jagannatha, yes, for sure, but yeah, the drop play is not bad on this map. HeroMarine has shown us a lot of successful drop play lately. He's been very good with dropping around and really just being a chaotic TvP player in the early stages of the game. Hasn't really shown that massively here just yet in this series, but you never know, I suppose. Harstem. See what he wants to bring in this game. I feel like his defense was pretty good last game, really controlling things. Also going to spice it up with a little bit of proxy action in the bottom right side. It's going to be a Stargate on the way in the bottom right hand corner. So getting that up and ready to go. This probe of Harstem is going to be moving its way back up after building that. So yeah, Harstem likes mixing the proxied Stargate every now and again. HeroMarine is scouting. Will he scout all the way over there? The problem is if you go that far across, then this Marine's very out of position if there is nothing there and something is just running into the front of your base, right? So there is, some cause for concern. Now, this isn't scouted, so what Harstem's going to do is, I believe he's going to go into a Void Ray, I think, and really go for the Void Ray bust. In which case, this probe I was going to say is going to have to come back across, because then you're going to want to add shield batteries, etc. So yeah, Harstem has been kind of a fan of doing this as of late. And for HeroMarine, he does see that there was no expansion initially, so he has been scouting around to try and figure out exactly what's going on. Probe with the adept. The probe almost revealing itself, and I feel like the probe being revealed is almost a sign, obviously, that you're trying to do something with this. Now, HeroMarine actually built 2 bunkers up in the main. He's very suspicious of why the hell is there not a natural in the Terran and the Protoss side of the map just yet. Void Ray leading the charge, picking up an SCV to begin with. Now the Void Ray going to activate, and the Prismatic Alignment going to help it to get rid of an initial depot, so that will be a little supply block for HeroMarine, or at least close to it. It's not quite a block, but like I say, close to it. Moves up and gets an SCV kill. Second Void Ray shows up. Yeah, she only just now starting to get our first batteries on the way to really power up this position for the Voids over in this natural. Bit of back and forth here so far, and the reactor taking a couple shots as well. Cyclone does get the lock on there for a few moments. The cycle comes back, and a couple of us is going to back away towards the natural expansion. Another Phoenix on the way up. The Cyclone having a lock on there to the shield battery. Now, obviously, with the Phoenix here, you can lift up the Cyclone and try and cancel the lock-ons at times, but HeroMarine's doing a really good job of keeping his units in a very safe place, right, and quite far back. Now, does come through. The Cyclone gets dropped. A couple of Vikings, though, getting some shots off, and you just have to pull a bit further back to the batteries that still have energy. Vikings firing again. Tank is going to get the battery. Marines moving down with the rest of this, and that pylon looks as though it's going to drop. Pylon gets denied now. Just a few Marines going to jump onto this battery too. As Harstem will move down the left side. A couple of SCVs going to get picked away at. Eventually, Harstem now just going to back away. Took his own expansion behind all of this and just macros out of it. So, still has a couple of voids to utilize at some point. Well, he did. Now he only has one of them. And a little bit too far forward against the Vikings there, unfortunately. So it's kind of an interesting transition you end up on, right? Because you actually have quite a few Phoenix from, building up the Phoenix count. And so as you get into quite a few Phoenix here, what happens is that the next step of this is a Robo Bay from Harstem. And you just end up playing Phoenix Colossus. So you actually kind of smoothly transition into Colossus from all of this. And again, you delay the natural of the Terran, and the Terran has to build bunkers and Vikings and so on. And so what the Terran is not doing is really improving their composition or their kind of their tech in the game. You know, sometimes when you do like an early aggressive attack, it's one of those things where you kind of fall behind on tech or something, and it's the tech that allows the Terran player to kind of really close the game out after, but, you know, if they hold. But this time, you don't really get ahead on any tech, right? There's just nothing like that. Things come through, and they're actually going to find themselves a Viking kill. I mean, little kills like that is nice. Obviously, you're going Colossus, so anytime you can get rid of a Viking, I think that's generally a positive. Obviously, the Stargate is still proxied, so if that's ever found, you do want to make sure you just have all the Phoenix in the world you're ever going to want. So he has been still building Phoenix pretty much throughout this. Phoenix still settling over the right side. Stargate down the bottom right corner. Marines, Vikings, and a tank are beginning to press forward as well. Here comes HeroMarine off on an attack to the upper side of the map. Oh, Vikings spend some damage onto a Phoenix there. I mean, the Phoenix obviously see this attack coming, so Harstem knows what's on his way. About to get an extended thermal lance. Obviously, the range in the Colossus can keep them a little bit further away from the tanks, and that could be a game changer for Harstem when it comes to how these fights play out. Give the Colossus that little bit safer, keep them alive, and everything can change it very quickly at that point. Still building Phoenix. I mean, there's just going to be a lot of those on the map here to work with. We see seven of them already, going to 8. Two more Raxus building up. I'm just going to be seeing Harstem is... Uh-oh. Hey, HeroMarine, why have you got all these Marines in the corner? I actually have no idea why he's got all these Marines in the corner, but that ain't good. Okay, well, that's a really good start for Harstem right now, as he is going to save the Colossus as well. Tanks are not yet sieging. Zealots are moving through to kind of tank in the front, and the Phoenix are lifting up what they can, taking anything possible out of the equation. Marines are not going to do well at all. I actually think Harstem might be... Yeah, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I don't want to say he's winning the game, but he's doing very well. No reinforcements for this is the biggest issue, perhaps, because he's not being able to build anything extra. Oh, the tanks are going to get lifted one more time. They're low HP, so they will go down. Okay, if Harstem just had a prism here, that would be incredible. He kills 7 SCVs. He does lose pretty much everything on the ground, and even the Phoenix count takes some heavy hits. The Colossus count as well has to be reestablished here. That was a good first fight for Harstem, just because it started off so well, catching those Marines to the left and getting so much damage on them before the rest of this fight really got to begin even. All the Phoenix over to the right. The rest of this army from HeroMarine is going to come out and settle in front of the third base. Alright, well, game settles down. Fourth base is on the way from Harstem, but going into fourth bases, he maybe puts the pressure a bit on HeroMarine again. Says, well, you know what, I'm not scared of the longer game. I'm actually kind of happy with where the longer game is going for me. You're still up by about 10 workers. With the fourth base coming online, he's going to be able to make use of a few extra workers as well, so he might even go a little bit beyond that. He is now adding a prism on. Again, that was really missing from the last fight, because with a prism then and warping right on top of the fight, He might have just, I mean, he had, the fight was long enough that he probably would have had 2 Warpins. So, yeah, definitely a scenario where the Prism could have been a game changer down on that bottom left corner. Yeah, just talking about how much HeroMarine won against Harstem in 2020, and maybe Harstem's looking to get 2021 off on the, I'd say the right foot, but again, he already lost to HeroMarine on the 7th of January, so he already lost 1 match to him this year, but maybe a chance to turn it around. Of course, not over yet, but here come the boys. So the SCVs are coming. The Ghosts are here for some EMPs. The Viking count looks pretty darn good. Oh, well, it's going to look even better if you get a Colossus kill for free to begin with. That's a bit of a yikes for Harstem. That's a free Colossus that he just didn't need to give up at all. He has got Disrupt on the way. He needs the Colossus. He needs the splash damage, but now he's going to lose another Colossus. Oh no, he actually keeps this one alive for the moment. Super Battery is going to do its part as the Phoenix actually really just tanked some damage. Oh my god, Harstem just lost all of his splash. He's killed off the SCVs, but that doesn't matter if he can't then kill off the army. The first Disruptor is on the way, is out now, but the other 2 are on the way. I mean, this Disruptor has serious work to put in right now. Harstem's going to dive on in. The Zealots are going to get the Vikings initially. First Disruptor will just whiff. Harstem is bringing the army supplies closer, though. The Zealots is not really a good answer to them. They're not EMP'd, so they have the shields to help out. And HeroMarine will type out the GG. Harstem's going to take it. 2-1 over HeroMarine. He pushes on through. He gets the win. Good defense, and Harstem is going to stay in the game. See, he has not left the game yet. That's why we can still see all the units. So Harstem stays in the game as he cleans up, and he takes down HeroMarine. And Harstem is going to disrupt HeroMarine's potential start of another winning streak. He won the last cup and is going to get knocked out in the round of 8 today. Harstem to the semi-finals of the ESL Open Cup Europe. Congratulations to him for a well-played